Turn that mic on. According to the Liberty Justice Center, the Chicago Teachers Union has not published an audit for its members since 2019, and members are wanting to see what's in the books. How are their members' dues being spent? And the back and forth in Cook County courts about to begin as you've got the Liberty Justice Center essentially saying, show us the money. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for taking time with us each and every weekday morning. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network, and get the podcasts. Anywhere you get podcasts, just search Illinois in Focus. And don't forget to check the headlines at thecentersquare.com. So the Liberty Justice Center says the Chicago Teachers Union is required to publish an audit every year. They have done that for 4 years now. They represent some CTU members who are asking to see the audits, so they sued this week. I had a chance to talk with Liberty Justice attorney Dean McGee, and he laid out what this case really centers around.
So we represent a handful of educators in Chicago who are members of the Chicago Teachers Union, CTU. CTU has over 25,000 members. They include teachers, but also other professionals like social workers, paraprofessionals. So it's a massive union with a lot of power in Chicago. CTU has a constitution and bylaws. Then under Illinois law, constitution and bylaws represent a contract between a union and its members. And the constitution and bylaws of CTU have provisions that require CTU to make financial audits available to their members. And there are two separate obligations. One is for CTU to make the audits available for inspection at their offices, but there's a separate obligation for the financial secretary of CTU to actually publish the audits to their members annually. And that makes sense because teachers shouldn't have to, take time out of their day to arrange a private visit to the CTU offices to know how their dues are being spent. The last time CTU actually published an audit to its members was in September of 2020, when it published an audit that covered 2018 and the first half of 2019. So from the second half of 2019 through today, CTU members have not received directly from their union mandatory published audit of how their dues are being spent. And we represent four educators and CTU members who authorized us to sue CTU to enforce that provision. Before suing, we sent a demand letter. We gave CTU a week to publish the audits voluntarily.
So in my conversation with the Liberty Justice Center attorney, Dean McGee, he also stressed there's no politics here. This has nothing to do with politics.
Well, that's right. And it is explicitly not a political issue from our perspective as lawyers and from our client's perspective. I've never discussed politics with my CTU clients. They don't know my politics and I don't know theirs. They have just stressed the importance as members of getting accountability. But what happened is on the deadline that we gave CTU to publish the audits, I received a letter from their attorneys asking me to identify our clients, and it was framed as a necessary due diligence on their end in order to verify that we actually do represent union members. But what it appeared to be was a ruse to start engaging with intimidation tactics against our clients, because that evening, and our clients could speak more about this, the president of CTU, Stacey Davis Gates, read their names to try to publicly shame them, associated them with things like Project 2025, referred to them as the extreme right wing, and all of that is baseless.
So interesting to hear from the attorney, obviously, but Liberty Justice Center also connected me with Philip Weiss, one of the plaintiffs in this case, who's a CTU member, a school counselor, and somebody who just wants to see the books because he's also on the union's pension fund to oversee those dollars. Chatted with him yesterday as well.
I was a trustee on the pension fund. I see many audits that are improper. I see a lot of money issues that are inconsistent. There's a lot of inconsistencies in a lot of different schools. They're expected by our bylaws to provide the audits. I consistently ask for the audits, and they give me the runaround, and they lie. And then when you press them, they smear and defame you. So it's just a red flag to me that there's something is seriously wrong. I was the investment chair of the pension fund, and I oversaw the $13 billion investment portfolio.
So he's running again for another term as a trustee, and we'll hear about how he was treated at this meeting of delegates when it comes to voting inside the union. But more from Philip Weiss, the lead plaintiff in the case challenging Chicago Teachers Union to open their books.
Yeah, so they wanted, it was a meet the candidate meeting, and there were 5 confirmed candidates for these there's 2 trustee openings. And I'm one of the candidates. There's people running that also met the criteria to be on the ballot. And so it was supposed to be, meet the candidates. You speak a little bit about yourself. You answer a few questions, and you give some closing remarks. That was the purpose of the meeting. Now, interesting, they didn't invite me until I raised a huge stink about it. And last year, they didn't invite me at all. Even though I was the incumbent. So, this is, just ridiculous. So now a lot of pressure was put, so they invited me at the last minute. I mean at the last minute. And then before I was able to give my opening remarks, they put up a copy of the demand letter and described me as the right wing and essentially the danger to the union.
And apparently, Stacey Davis Gates, the Chicago Teachers Union president, during that meeting also mentioned Project 2025, trying to link Weiss to that group.
Yep, she introduced it when she was introducing. She had said this is the legal arm of Illinois policy. Essentially, she was telling everyone these are your enemies. It was in front of the entire delegate body. She humiliated me before I gave my opening remarks. And when somebody called out, well, I'm not voting for him.
So the intimidation tactics seem to be what Weiss is experiencing, just simply for asking for the audits.
I'm very thankful to Liberty Justice Center for taking this case and helping expose what we're entitled to. And we have a right to know what happens with our money.
Now, while he feels some intimidation from union leadership, he says there's been a lot of actual positive feedback from union members.
I've got an overwhelming positive feedback from members, and I was unsure how they would respond, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. They're very happy I filed this suit, and there's numerous people that requested these audits, and they're getting non-responses.
And again, those requests, the union says all they have to do is just request, and then we'll open it up for them.
That was the other thing. They said, all you have to do is ask, and we'll be happy to show it to you. And they said that on camera. Stacey said it on camera. Their attorney, Robert Block, said it on camera. Meanwhile, I had made and they said, you just need to send an email to Matthew Luskin. I've sent 3 emails to Matthew Luskin, 2 no responses. One, he was out of the office for some sort of family situation. He doesn't respond.
Again, Philip Weiss is the lead plaintiff in this case challenging the Chicago Teachers Union for not opening up their audits for inspection. Now, Liberty Justice Center says that they were told they could come in and inspect these, but Even that, Weiss says, has not been allowed.
No, they won't. I've tried numerous times. I've called. They will not return my calls. I don't even know if they exist, to be honest.
So we'll see what ultimately transpires in this lawsuit when it comes to accountability for how the union is spending its members' money. But if you look at the Liberty Justice Center's X post here, you'll see they talk about how the lawyers sent them a letter threatening to seek sanctions for harassing and frivolous lawsuits. They say, go ahead and try. And while you're in front of the courts, maybe you can explain why CTU hasn't published the audits and why your obstruction isn't a waste of everyone's time and money. Or you could just publish the audits as everyone knows you're required to do. And looking at the letter they shared, they obviously say that, they've given opportunity to respond to the request if the suit was actually filed, and given your failure to first avail yourself to the opportunity by CTU members to inspect the union audits by request, the lawsuit's harassing and frivolous. But then they go on to respond with emails that we heard Weiss talk about, requesting to view these things and really not hearing anything back. So kind of interesting, and something that's really driven by the desire for accountability. So we'll watch that closely as well as that case continues to develop over time. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Join us each and every weekday morning as we break down things you need to know for starting your day. It is Illinois in Focus here with America's Talking Network. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, get the podcast anywhere you get podcasts for Illinois in Focus Daily.